Hello, everyone. Welcome to Friday Facts this January 3rd, 2025.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, our Friday Facts, we have some good news for those of you who didn't make it to the Christmas party. You missed out, first of all, because it was freaking amazing. Also, I just want to review the numbers that Jim went over, how many we did in 2025. 2025, we did 7,139 insertions. So that's how many picks and midlines we did. We did 1,036 advanced procedures, so that's central lines and dialysis catheters, and 5,457 PIVs. And heard we're going to double that this year. Just kidding. Wouldn't that be
That'd
something?
be crazy.
Yeah.
There is a dinner coming up. Sue's coming in town to the
Mhm.
South Territory. So there's going to be a fancy steak dinner,
Fancy,
uh,
fancy.
fancy, on the 8th, evening of the 8th. So that's a Wednesday next week. So put that on your calendar if you want some more details.
So that'll
Um,
be that's in Columbus. Anybody who's in Columbus, or even if you want to come down to Columbus, it will be a nice dinner. I'm sure we'll talk about picks and all sorts of fun things. So do make your way down there. It's going to be great. Also, we want to make we just want to welcome Brianna or Bree Simmons. She is a new hire. I think we kind of briefly mentioned her, but Bree, welcome to the team. Hope you love it as much as the rest of us do. So
yeah, and she's
everybody,
doing
high
great.
five. Yep.
Heck yeah. All right, let's talk about some clinical stuff. All right, let's say you have a patient that has one accessible arm. You can't touch the other arm for some reason. We should be thinking down the road. It might have a midline order, but think down the road. Because if you use that midline and you have a some thrombophlebitis, you have some issues with it, then you're stuck. So if you've got a single arm patient, think about doing a PICC line if it's appropriate and if it makes sense. Every situation is going to be different, but just think about down the road. And on that same vein, uh, midlines on the left is going to be better for the patient. We love doing picks on the right. If you can save those vessels for us down the road, that's going to set us up for success. So if it's reasonable to do a midline on the left, that's going to be a little better for the patient.
To the
From
rule of
a
thumb, just as the rule of thumb, try to keep midlines to the left, picks to the right.
right,
Just it's better. Yeah,
yep,
better long term.
for sure. And then measuring, guys, measure twice. Think about the height of your patient. Think about the location of your insertion site. And think about if all that stuff makes sense before you actually cut. Measure twice, cut once. Taller patients, they're going to have longer SVCs. Everything's longer, generally speaking. So
Yeah.
just take those things into consideration.
Like if you measure a 34 on a patient who's 6'1", you better
Hmm.
be in the armpits or the
Right.
axilla
Yes, yes.
because your catheter is going to be too short, or
Yeah.
vice
Yeah, and
versa.
if you're newer, measure twice and just be sure, and then give yourself a little bit of margin. So if you don't want to be too short, you don't want to be mid SVC, you don't want to be upper SVC. Give yourself a little bit of margin.
On that same note, or similar note, actually, the theme I really want everybody to focus on this week is not being a robot. And I know that a lot of you have seen me insert, and I say and do the exact same thing. I am like a robot, but it's really fine tuned. And what you don't see is that I have the same jokes, but they're not for every patient. And I was talking to Jim this week, and Jim had a couple of procedures done and had some interactions with healthcare workers, and with that, it really struck a nerve. And it's like, a lot of times we deal with patients, and this is their first interaction in a procedure, first time they've been in a hospital or whatever, and they don't have a lot of autonomy and they're afraid. So, by not being a robot, by giving someone knowledge of what's to expect and letting them know what you're going to do before you do it, it really reassures them. And it is often the difference between a good experience and a bad experience. You can have a terrible insertion experience. For you, you could be in the weeds and like not making the turn and doing all this difficult stuff. But if you're communicating with the patient and being pleasant and having a conversation with them, or not, just doing the right thing for that patient and not being a robot, they can have a good experience, as opposed to you can have a beautiful, smooth insertion, like, ah, great, and just be a dick. And it really mean a lot, and they think, what in the world just happened? I can't believe how awful that was. And so don't be a robot, be a human, and treat people with some dignity, and try to be thoughtful of their experience when you're dealing with all these patients. We do
Yeah,
have
those are
Friday
good words.
facts. We do have some Friday facts. We're going to play this game, and this is not like a long-term game. You got to be a little quicker to the draw on this one. The second caller wins.
Yep,
Second caller
trivia.
wins, and it's a $25 gift card at your choice if you get it right. What's the question?
Is it the second caller or
I think we're gonna do second.
second? Okay, second
Second
caller.
caller. And I'm going to say it because Nathan may be around someone.
Yeah, yeah, I gotta keep it. Yeah. Don't want to get, I mean, we don't want to let somebody have the advantage, so Joe's
The
gonna say it.
question is, what is Jim's phone number? The second person who texts Jim's phone number gets the $25.
Yep.
All right.
Text individually, please.
Text individually to
Yep.
the lines. Yep.
404-490-0074.
Did you look at your pen? I
I
caught you.
did. If you guys ever forget, get some pens, hand them
All right,
out.
guys. Hey, also pass out the candy. If you have candy in your possession, get that stuff passed out because the holidays, nobody wants stanky candy. Have a good weekend, guys. See ya.
See ya.